It's the top 5 zombies in Commander.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Commander Countdown. This is the series where we take polls from you guys and give you those results. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, EDHRec. Make sure you guys head on over to EDHRec so you guys can get a little inspiration for your deck building. On today's episode, we are going over the best zombies for Commander. Now, Veggie, which zombie do you think deserves a spot on the list, but didn't quite get there?
This is a personal favorite of mine. I nominated Gravespawn Sovereign as my honorable mention. This is a 6-mana zombie for 3/3. You can tap 5 untapped zombies you control to put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
That's not a big body for 6 mana, but that is a lot of value, especially because zombie decks tend to put a lot of zombies in the graveyard by themselves as it is.
Mm-hmm. And like this makes such a good use of all of those tokens. Because you've got like the decayed zombies, which are, just kind of sticking around until you do something with them, but you can just tap them for this ability. And it hits any graveyard. So, if your creatures aren't doing it, then you just start stealing stuff from your opponent's graveyards.
Yeah, there's also cards like Jozu Vest that just make 10 zombie tokens, so that you're going to be getting a lot of them. So this won't be a difficult thing to trigger, you're right.
Plus, this ability is at instant speed, so it makes for a lot of different tricks that you can do, having access to every graveyard whenever you want it.
Yeah, instant speed also means you could do it at the end of turn, making it a lot more difficult for your opponents to deal with it, kind of also acting as like haste for a lot of the zombies that are attacking. Mm-hmm. Not bad. All right, my honorable mention, I've talked about it on the show before, but hands down, my favorite zombie is Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler is a 1-mana 2/1 that says Gravecrawler cannot block, and you can cast it from your graveyard as long as you control another zombie. I have played a ton of this card in Modern, but I also think it's a great include for any zombie deck in Commander. It's great with Sacrifice. It's great to just bring back for your early game. You can do a lot with this little guy, and he combos pretty well too.
Yeah, that's like the perfect double duty creature, because early in the game you're getting that nerd girl value out of it, of just like being able to bring it back and sacrifice it for an effect and etc. And then late in the game, it becomes your ideal combo piece. You just be like, great, I've got, this and like Phyrexian Altar and something else. And everybody just loses.
Yeah, he's really, really awesome. I love how much you can do with simple cards like this. They're good early, they're good late. And I thought he definitely deserved a spot on the top 5, but for now, he's just my honorable mention. Let's go ahead and talk about your guys' top 5 choices for the best zombies in Commander. And coming in at number 5, we've got
Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Who needs zombie synergy when you can just drain out the entire table? It's a 5-mana 2/4 zombie, of course. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way.
Not all zombie decks are mono black, but you certainly can build them that way. And these zombie decks tend to have a lot of ways to recur themselves. So this is just going to do a lot of work when it comes onto the battlefield a second and third time.
You're right, because every black deck can make good use of Grey Merchant, but zombies in particular are especially good at that recursion, which turns a just big life swing into maybe the whole game being over.
Easy enough card. Let's move on to your guys' number 4 choice.
Oh, that's me. Coming in at number 4 is Varina Lich Queen. This is 1 and Esper colors for a 4/4 zombie wizard. When you attack with 1 or more zombies, draw that many cards, then discard that many cards, you gain that much life. Then you can also pay 2 and exile 2 cards from your graveyard to create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token.
All right, so this is going to be fueling itself. For starters, yay Esper. But I like that you're going to get to fix your hand, dump a bunch of stuff into your graveyard, which your deck can likely recur anyway. But then the biggest part of this is you're fueling the zombie generation all by itself.
Yeah. And like it fuels it in every way. Like, yes, it makes zombies, and then those zombies put more cards into your discard, which then make more zombies. It in itself has its full game plan fleshed out.
Yeah, it's also really
Fleshed out. Hey. I didn't intend that one, and that makes me happy.
And the funny thing is, I think that's one of your better ones. Esper also gives you access to a larger suite of removal, counter spells, all sorts of goodies that, you wouldn't be able to do in a sort of mono black shell.
Yeah. I'm interested especially because white gives you access to a lot of combat stuff, and this commander wants you to be attacking, wants you to be swinging out with all of your zombies. So you get all of those tricks, you get all of those like attacking triggers, and that's such a unique way to approach zombies.
On a power scale, how strong have you seen builds of this be?
Very.
Really?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I think this is too low for this card on the list.
Oh.
The addition of white makes a huge difference. And the fact that this is not limited to how big its ability can go, that's the difference maker. A lot of attack triggers recently are like, oh, if you attack with one or more, you get a single effect. This is just straight up, however many zombies you get, that many cards, that many discards, that much life. And that is incredibly powerful.
And that's going to actually let you, even if this by itself is not the powerhouse, getting to draw that many cards and cycle through is going to get you to all your combo pieces. I feel like that's where the real strength is.
Very right.
Okay, moving on to number 3.
God Eternal Bontu. 5/6 zombie god for 5 with menace. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of other permanents, then draw that many cards. When God Eternal Bontu dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library third from the top.
Card draw's good, and you certainly have a lot of excess things to be sacrificing here. It also lets you do your excess lands.
Mm-hmm. And this one is nice because it's great in the command zone or just in the 99 because that second ability, of course, is not terribly useful as commander, but allows you to kind of loop it if it's just something that you're running in your deck.
Yeah, or if it is in the command zone, it just makes it so that way it's a little bit more reasonable because it's already 5 to cast. It's pretty steep. If you get late in the game, you might want to just put it into the library.
And of course, we keep talking about how zombies are able to easily recur things over and over. So this isn't just like a one-time, oh, great, I'm going to draw that many cards. There's either you're reanimating it or you're putting it back into your library. So this effect is going to happen over and over and over and over again.
And that's not just for him. This is a great enabler for getting your other zombies into the graveyard that you want to be enabling to bring back over and over again.
Right, with your Gravespawn Sovereign.
Moving on to number 2, no stranger to this show, we are going to be talking about the Scarab God.
The Scarab God is a 5/5. Oh.
What?
This is illegal.
What do you mean?
This is illegal. It's not a zombie.
Oh.
The Scarab God is a 5 mana 5/5 god. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. You can pay forward, exile target creature card from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it is a 4/4 black zombie. And when it dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step.
So it is important to note that this is not a legal card for this poll, right? This is not a zombie. And I believe our poll specified what are the best zombies. And this is clearly a god.
Yeah. But also, we saw that it was on the list and did not even think to check until this moment right now, which is certainly a testament to how zombie-y this card feels.
Yeah, when I looked at the list, I just thought zombie god. That checks out. Moving on.
Scarab God, this is zombie.
But every single piece of what this does speaks to zombies. Now, it doesn't need to make a zombie deck, but should it? I mean, it is getting you to do more things for zombies. So even though he makes them their own, like you still get benefits for having other ones on the battlefield, which you did not recur with the Scarab God. So that's a huge bonus. The exile it from your graveyard and recur it is going to give you huge bonuses with cards like Grey Merchant. You get extra card draw with the Varina.
It does make for some interesting synergies as well, since you're turning other things into zombies, which are then getting the bonuses from your zombie lords. You just get so much bigger impact from that first ability if you've already got an army of them.
Yeah, and it does let you get a little tricky, right? You can build the zombie version, but you aren't excluded from actually including a couple other cute things that you really want to use that aren't zombies, because they will be eventually. All right, we'll let you guys slide this time, but let's go ahead and move on to the number 1 best zombie in Commander.
You know who it is. It's Wilhelt the Rot Cleaver. It's a 4-mana 3/3 zombie warrior. You got this one right. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. At the beginning of your next end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card.
Nice. It's making a zombie that won't stick around, but that's totally okay because you can just sacrifice it for small things. It's going to re-trigger the ETBs. It doesn't say that zombie has to be exiled to make this, so you can still reuse them later. So this is just a great value engine.
Yeah, turning every zombie that you have ever into another zombie. I mean, like it does its own thing, but you've got a million other ways to sacrifice zombies, and a whole board full of them. And it doesn't even specify non-token zombie. Like, it does say can't have Decayed, so it's not going to trigger off of its own zombies, but every single other token that you make is still going to create then another token.
Yep, and it doesn't need to be one of those tokens that you sacrifice. You can sort of save up and build a mass amount of those tokens and zombies before one big alpha swing and still capitalize on this bottom text and just sacrifice your Gravecrawler over and over again each turn and still get to be drawing an extra card, no life loss or anything. There are plenty of zombies that you can get that will just recur themselves without needing to do anything. And each time you do, it makes a copy of it. Gravecrawler, yes, my honorable mention. Woo. Well, not a copy of Gravecrawler, but another body that you can do the thing. And each turn you're just going to make another one and still get to draw the card.
And don't count out the fact that these tokens that it makes, having Decayed being a words do, yes. It's not even necessarily a downside that these tokens have Decayed, because sometimes you want to get some value out of all of the death triggers that you have from different permanents on the battlefield, and you just don't have a sack outlet. You can just turn all those zombies sideways, get some damage in, and then they just go poop, 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 poop. Great, my Blood Artist or whatever has now also taken out the table. We can say for sure that this is the best zombie for Commander because it plays well with Gravecrawler and Gravespawn Sovereign.
And that wraps up our top 5 and honorable mentions.
Wraps up. That's mummies, not zombies.
I thought I actually made a mistake. You were waiting for that one for a while.
No, it just came to me. And also it's not correct because as far as Magic is concerned, mummies are zombies. That's all the mummies are zombies. So we'll cut all of that. But
all right, that finishes our top 5 and honorable mentions for zombies. And next up, we have another segment for you guys. We're going to be doing a patron deck tech brought to you by our sponsor, EDHRec. Today's deck list was submitted by our patron, the Twilight Sovereign, and we're going to be taking a look at their Brokos Apex Forever list.
Oh, no, wait. That's not the commander. The commander is everybody's favorite MTG character, BioQuartz Space Godzilla, which happens to have the exact same text, the same card. It is a 6/6 for 5 mana, 2 and Sultai. It has Mutate for 2 and kind of Sultai. Trample, and you may cast Brokos or BioQuartz Space Godzilla from your graveyard for its mutate cost. Artifacts. Crowded Crypt is probably the interesting one out of here. Taps for mana, creatures die, you put counters on it, and then you can make a zombie for every counter on it.
Yeah, Phyrexian Altar also going to be a combo piece, I'm guessing.
What, the Gravecrawler player is pointing out the Phyrexian Altar?
Hey, look, Gravecrawler.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Some nicer new includes as well, the Glissa, but also all of the classics.
Oh, so many lords. If that's like the zombie thing, I would bet that zombies have the most lords of any creature type.
Probably.
Cemetery Reaper, Death Baron, Diregraph Captain.
Narfi is an interesting include. So basic lands are going to be snow lands?
We'll have to take a look, but it does also just give a boost to zombie creatures.
Yeah, and maybe they're banking on other things to recur it, but that's still pretty neat include I was not expecting to see. The Overcharged Amalgam, built-in counter magic with zombie synergy.
Love that card.
Yeah, very good.
Well, there's your number one Wilhelt too. I wish that Airball were here somewhere because I feel like he would appreciate the Lich's mastery that's in this. If only he were somewhere with us, but unfortunately he's not. But we, the two of us in the room, can appreciate this Lich's mastery for him. Oh yeah, gotta have that sweet necroduality. Why do zombies also have like the best enchantments?
Yeah, I mean, blue, black tend to have some pretty good stuff, so not surprising. But the Moldervine, I think that's a really cute one.
And you wouldn't get that with your typical Dimir. Oh, this looks like a lot of instant speed tricks. I'm happy with this. I'm seeing counters. I'm seeing removal, card draw,
and some charms, Sultai and Simic Charm. There's some snows.
There they are. Yes. Okay, so you're running snow basics for the Narfi. I don't think we saw any other.
There's basics.
Mark it. Mark today. We've officially swapped roles.
I should quit.
And definitely got to be running the Liliana because turning all your zombies into card draw and make zombies. And I like the Vraska include as well. Again, something that you can only get with green, but turning more zombies into value and giving you a weird win condition.
Yeah. And the other thing with green is you're going to get access to a lot of this ramp that we're seeing, including Cultivate. Some nice things that Dimir typically wouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something that makes me happy about running a Rishkar's expertise in a zombie deck. It's like, okay, yeah.
All right, now we've taken a look at the list. Veggie, what are you thinking when we swap over to see what we might be able to include? So far, I think it was pretty good. I didn't see any of like big combos or anything. Did you?
It looks like a lot of solid cards. Your good old fashioned zombie synergy, but I think I would want to see some more like heavy hitters and some more like ways to end the game, whether it's a combo or just a finisher.
That's what I was thinking, that I did see a lot of synergy, but not anything that sort of brought you over the top. You're going to draw a lot of cards. You're going to have a fair number of 2/2s, but then that's kind of where the train stops. So if we miss something, don't forget to put it in the comments, but let's take a look at EDHRec and see what other includes we might be able to find. Typically, when we take a look at EDHRec for these upgrade lists, we tend to just put in the commander's name and see what things synergize with it. But because Brokos is not a zombie, we decided to go ahead and just go to themes and put in typal zombie. And we're going to go ahead and click the Sultai option, and this will give us all of the best zombies in the Sultai colors and zombie synergy cards. So this is the commander list. Normally we would skip this, but I mean, these would be great includes for the deck, right? Actually,
yeah. I'm a big Sidisi Brood Tyrant fan. I used to run that deck back in the day, and it does a lot of stuff that your zombies want, putting cards into the graveyard and making tokens.
I'm a big Muldrotha fan. You get to bring back all of your stuff. That's value.
That is a lot of stuff to bring back too. Hey, run them both. We'll mill some stuff and then we'll play it out of the graveyard. I'll be impressed if he makes it up there.
Muldrotha, the way she's typed, works for battles, right?
Oh, good boy. Commander count. Are you ready to be a part of the commander countdown? Hammy likes dog treat at number 2. Ew, slobber. Snoot juice.
Hammy says that the Scarab God is not a zombie card.
All right, let's move down and check out some of the other synergy cards, starting with new cards. I don't know, is that a good thing?
I don't know. This is a card that I've heard a lot of good things about that have not gotten to test myself. I think the main thing that this card does that supports zombies is mill yourself. And other than that, though, is just like good card. I will say it was a surprise not seeing a Rooftop Storm in this deck.
That does seem like an auto include in just about every zombie deck.
I'm very, very big on Undead Augur. This is, any of your zombies die, that turns into a card and you lose a life for 2.
solid zombie for sure. And you're going to be making a bunch of them and making extra tokens, throwing those away. Yeah, honestly, I think any of the cards on our top 5 and honorable mention lists fit into this deck. Zombies are just so seamless. They all work together so wonderfully. There's a green zombie that we wouldn't have access to if we weren't in the Sultai green color, is the Underrealm Lich.
Yeah, I definitely like being able to filter my draws.
And fuel your graveyard, remove those, make more zombies, recur things. The Whip of Erebos would be really cool if you're throwing some extra stuff into your graveyard.
Yeah. Plus, like, board wipes and things like that are usually not the worst thing for zombies. They can rebuild pretty quickly, but it still sets you back having an empty board. And this is something that will be able to stick around if that happens.
Yeah. Don't need to hold mana open or anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, there were 2 planeswalkers in the list, but Liliana Death's Majesty was not one of them. And she is, I think, probably the most zombie of the Lilianas, being able to make them and then alt to just clear the board of non-zombies.
Yeah, look at the synergy score. That's one of the highest synergy scores I've seen. Yeah. And it's in 52% of the decks. That's a lot.
I have never seen this card before. Zombie Apocalypse. Return all zombie creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and then destroy all humans.
Humans is awfully specific, but very cute.
Oh, I don't think we saw the Cleaver Scab, which is definitely a fun one to run. I like this because you're making copies of your zombies. Double Lords.
Taking a look at these different cards, it is interesting to see the synergy level, because this is one of the higher synergy levels I've seen just in every card on average than you do for any other deck I've taken a look at.
Yeah, I don't know how you like narrow it down to just 99 cards in your deck with zombies.
They're all so good. The biggest thing that we were talking about is some of those heavy top end cards, heavy hitters, and still not quite seeing much of them in this list. So maybe the zombies do just kind of swarm and they're not looking to tutor out a bunch of infinite combos.
Man, did I just miss a bunch of cool zombie cards? Empty the Laboratory? That's a lot of fun, and I think that could qualify as a big finisher. You're just polymorphing all of your zombies.
That's a really interesting way to turn a lot of those excess tokens into something that you can hit a little bit harder with, and your Gravecrawler. It's free.
Yeah. That's the number one reason to run it.
All right. Overall, it seems like the deck list has pretty well-rounded synergy. The only thing I would look for is maybe some sort of curve topper, but I'm honestly not seeing anything here in the list. Something like maybe a Crater Hoof because you have access to green.
There is something special about being able to run a Crater Hoof Behemoth in a zombie deck.
Yeah, and eventually it'll just come back as a zombie. Right. But realistically, all of the classic zombie commanders are good enough to just be ran in the deck by themselves, and they all end up kind of being their own little mini finishers. Lastly, our ratings and suggestions. My suggestion would just be to include something else to help get this deck over the finish line. That could be a little bit more of a infinite combo with the Phyrexian Altar, something sort of like Zulaport Cutthroat and Blood Artist. You could use those, go infinite with cards like Gravecrawler. But overall, I like the deck. I do think zombies is a really fun archetype, and I would just put in a little bit more of those heavy-hitting classic commanders into the deck list.
I mean, it seems to me, especially with the choice of commander, that there is a big emphasis on like fun and cute cards. And so I think I would want to see a little leaning into that even further. So you've got Biocore Space Godzilla that can mutate onto other things. So maybe some more of like the copy or clone cards to be able to make multiple copies of your weird zombie mutate creature, since it's probably got the biggest stats of anything in the deck.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would your rating of this deck be on a scale of 1 to 5 for the veggie scale?
Ooh, so we're changing the numbers of the scale.
1 to 10. What did I say? And what would your rating be from 1 to 10, Veggie, on the veggie scale?
I'm going to give this deck a solid 6 out of 10 on the veggie scale. Big points for Biocore Space Godzilla as the commander. I want to see this get even more weird, even more ridiculous.
That's fair. It's a little tough one. I love zombies. I love the feel. I also am going to give this a 6 on the Nerd Girl scale. I just want to see a little bit more of a game plan. I do love the zombie synergies, and everything here fit that category, but I didn't see anything else that was going to really bring it over the top. So I'd like to see a few more includes that are either a little bit more powerful or, like Veggie said, a little cuter within the synergy that you're working with.
Okay, well, that wraps up. That completes our Commander Countdown. As always, big thank you to our sponsor, EDHRec, for making this show possible and providing an excellent resource for inspiration and deck building.
And if you guys would like to vote on our next Commander Countdowns, make sure you guys check the link in the description below so you guys can vote on our next topics. And if you would like to help us create more content like this, don't forget to check out our Patreon, where you guys can unlock exclusive perks like signed tokens from the cast and crew. You guys can get into some spell table guests and even submit deck lists for us to review here on the show.
And you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop us a comment to let us know what your favorite zombie cards are, and if you think the Scarab God is in fact a zombie card or not. That's all for now, but we'll see you next time on
Commander Countdown.